Welcome to Life Theory, where we share valuable insights to help you achieve your goals and live a fulfilling life. In this lesson, we're going to talk about the pitfalls and traps that can hold you back from success and happiness. Life is full of challenges, but it's important to be aware of these traps and learn how to avoid them. Number 1. Early life mistakes to avoid. First up, let's discuss the mistakes to avoid in our early years. As children, we are impressionable and often make decisions that can have a lasting impact on our lives. It's essential to steer clear of traps like not valuing education, not having a healthy relationship with our parents or caretakers, and engaging in risky behavior. Not valuing education can lead to a lifetime of missed opportunities. By not taking our education seriously, we limit our potential and limit our opportunities for success. It's crucial to understand the value of education and to take advantage of the resources available to us. Another trap to avoid is not having a healthy relationship with our parents or caretakers. Our early relationships with our family members shape our understanding of the world and ourselves. If we have negative relationships with those closest to us, it can lead to lifelong emotional and psychological issues. Engaging in risky behavior can have lasting consequences. As children, we can be impulsive and make decisions that have long-term consequences. It's essential to think before we act and make decisions that align with our values and long-term goals. Our early years set the foundation for the rest of our lives. It's essential to avoid mistakes that can have a lasting impact and instead focus on building a solid foundation for a successful future. By valuing education, having healthy relationships with our loved ones, and making responsible decisions, we set ourselves up for a fulfilling and successful life. Number 2. Trapped by past investments. Many people invest their time, money, or energy in something, only to find out later that it wasn't the right decision. They may have continued to invest more because they didn't want to waste what they had already put in. This is known as the sunk cost fallacy. Let's say you've been in a relationship for several years, but it's not working out. You may feel like you've invested too much time and effort into the relationship to give up now, so you continue to stay in it even though it's not making you happy. The key to avoiding this trap is to recognize that sunk costs are already gone, and continuing to invest in them won't change that. Instead, focus on the present and future, and make decisions based on what will benefit you the most in the long run. The important thing to remember is that sunk costs are irrelevant to your current situation. You should always base your decisions on what's best for you in the present and future, not on what you've already invested in the past. It's easy to fall into the trap of being trapped by past investments, but it's important to recognize when it's time to move on and let go. Don't let sunk costs dictate your future decisions, and always focus on what's best for you in the present and future. Number 3. Addiction to instant gratification. Instant gratification is the desire to experience pleasure or fulfillment immediately, without delay or deferment. In today's world, we are bombarded with distractions and temptations that promise instant gratification, such as social media, fast food, and online shopping. While these things can provide temporary pleasure, they often lead to long-term negative consequences. Suppose you find yourself frequently indulging in unhealthy food choices or spending hours scrolling through social media. In that case, it can lead to weight gain, poor health, and decreased productivity. This addiction can also lead to financial troubles if you spend money on items you don't need or can't afford. To overcome the addiction to instant gratification, it's important to develop self-control and delayed gratification skills. Start by setting clear goals for yourself, both short-term and long-term, and create a plan to achieve them. Learn to recognize when you're tempted to indulge in instant gratification and find alternative ways to fulfill that desire, such as going for a walk, reading a book, or engaging in a hobby. One way to build self-control is through mindfulness practices such as meditation or yoga. These practices help increase self-awareness and improve impulse control. You can also surround yourself with positive influences, such as friends who share your goals and values. Instant gratification may provide temporary pleasure, but it often leads to long-term negative consequences. By developing self-control and delaying gratification, you can avoid this trap and achieve your goals. The addiction to instant gratification is a common pitfall that can hinder your success and happiness. By developing self-control, setting clear goals, and practicing delayed gratification, you can overcome this addiction and avoid its negative consequences. Stay tuned for our next subject on the 15 pitfalls to steer clear of in life. Number 4. Struggling to make decisions. One reason we struggle with decision-making is fear of making the wrong choice. We may worry about the consequences of our decisions, which can lead to overthinking and analysis paralysis. Alternatively, we may simply lack the confidence to trust our instincts and take action. To avoid the trap of struggling to make decisions, we need to learn how to analyze the pros and cons of our options, identify our priorities, and trust our intuition. We should also avoid becoming too attached to a particular outcome, as this can cloud our judgment and prevent us from seeing other viable options. Imagine that you're trying to decide whether to take a new job offer in a different city. On the one hand, the job may offer more money and opportunities for growth, but on the other hand, you'll be leaving behind your friends and family. In this situation, it's important to consider your priorities and values. If you value career advancement over personal relationships, the job may be the right choice for you. However, if your relationships are your top priority, staying put may be the best option. Overcoming the trap of struggling to make decisions requires a willingness to take risks and learn from our mistakes. By embracing uncertainty and recognizing that there are no guarantees in life, we can gain the confidence we need to make informed decisions and move forward towards our goals. Number 5. Rushing towards goals. Rushing towards goals is a common pitfall that many people face. While it is important to have goals and strive towards achieving them, it is equally important to take the time to plan and strategize. Rushing towards goals often leads to mistakes, missed opportunities, and burnout. Imagine someone who has a goal of starting a successful business. They rush to launch their product without conducting market research, creating a business plan, or establishing a solid foundation. As a result, they face several setbacks, such as low sales and negative customer feedback. They may also experience burnout due to the stress of trying to maintain a business that was not built on a solid foundation. Success is a journey, not a race. Taking the time to plan, strategize, and execute will lead to a more sustainable and successful outcome. It is important to be patient and trust the process, as rushing towards goals can often result in more harm than good. Number 6. Ego trap. The ego is a powerful force that can both propel us forward and hold us back. It can lead to confidence and success, but it can also lead to arrogance and isolation. The ego trap occurs when we allow our ego to control our thoughts and actions, rather than our rational minds. An individual may become so focused on their personal success and accomplishments that they begin to disregard the opinions and contributions of others. They may become dismissive of those who they feel are beneath them or not as successful. This can lead to a lack of empathy and a sense of superiority, ultimately leading to isolation and loneliness. To avoid falling into the ego trap, it is important to remain humble and open to feedback from others. Instead of focusing solely on personal accomplishments, strive to contribute to the greater good and recognize the value in others. Keep in mind that success is not solely determined by individual achievements, but also by the impact we have on others and society as a whole. Remember that success is not solely based on personal achievements and that it is important to remain humble and open to feedback from others. Number 7. Temporary solutions that cause long-term problems. Temporary solutions that create long-term problems are traps that should be avoided at all costs. It's tempting to want to put a band-aid on an issue that needs long-term solutions, but this approach can create more problems in the long run. An example of this trap is using credit cards to make purchases that you can't afford to pay off right away. While this may provide instant gratification, it can quickly spiral into long-term debt that's difficult to get out of. Instead, it's important to focus on saving money and only making purchases that you can afford. Think about the long-term consequences of your decisions. Before making a decision, ask yourself if it will cause more problems down the road. If the answer is yes, then it's best to look for a different solution. Short-term solutions often create long-term problems. When faced with a problem, take the time to think through potential solutions and their long-term consequences before making a decision. This will help you avoid falling into the trap of temporary solutions that cause long-term problems. Number 8. Increasing lifestyle expenses. Many people get trapped into living a lifestyle that is unsustainable, spending beyond their means, and not thinking about the future consequences. Living a lavish lifestyle may bring temporary satisfaction, but it comes with a price. Increasing your lifestyle expenses can lead to financial insecurity, debt, and living paycheck to paycheck. It's important to learn how to manage your finances and live within your means. For instance, you might be tempted to buy a luxury car or live in an expensive apartment that you can't afford. It's essential to prioritize and invest in things that matter most and avoid unnecessary expenses that can derail your financial goals. Instead of buying a new car, consider buying a used car that fits your budget. Opt for a smaller apartment or move to a more affordable neighborhood. Make sure to save a portion of your income for emergencies and long-term financial goals such as retirement, paying off debts, or investing. Always evaluate your spending habits and make necessary adjustments to keep your financial goals on track. It's easy to get caught up in the idea of living a lavish lifestyle, but it's essential to live within your means to avoid financial insecurity and debt. Creating a budget, prioritizing spending, and avoiding unnecessary expenses can help you avoid the trap of increasing lifestyle expenses. Number 9. Illusion of endless time. In life, we all have a finite amount of time, yet many of us fall into the trap of believing that we have endless amounts of it. This illusion of endless time can be detrimental to our lives, as it can lead to a lack of motivation to pursue our goals and dreams. People often procrastinate, telling themselves that they can do it later or that they have plenty of time to accomplish their goals. However, time waits for no one, and before they know it, the time has slipped away. It is important to remember that time is a precious commodity that we cannot afford to waste. We need to use it wisely and ensure that we are making the most of every moment. We must prioritize our goals and work towards them consistently. An example of this is a person who wants to learn a new language but keeps postponing it, thinking they have all the time in the world. They may delay it for years, and when they finally decide to take action, they realize they could have already been fluent in that language if they had started earlier. Time is limited, and we must use it wisely to pursue our goals and make our dreams a reality. We should not fall into the illusion of endless time and procrastinate, as that will only lead to regret and unfulfilled potential. Number 10. Pitfalls of traditional education. Traditional education has been around for centuries and has been the standard for learning. However, it has its pitfalls that can hinder one's personal and professional growth. One of the main pitfalls is the lack of flexibility in the education system, as it doesn't cater to individual learning styles and preferences. Moreover, traditional education emphasizes the memorization of facts rather than the development of critical thinking skills. This often results in students being ill-prepared for the real world, where creative problem-solving and decision-making skills are more valued than mere memorization. Additionally, traditional education can also be expensive, leading to student debt and financial instability. Furthermore, the cost of education doesn't necessarily correlate with the quality of education provided. Therefore, it's essential to identify these pitfalls and find ways to overcome them. One way is to supplement traditional education with online learning platforms and other resources that cater to individual learning styles. Additionally, one can focus on developing critical thinking skills through self-directed learning and real-world experiences. Traditional education has its pitfalls that can hinder one's personal and professional growth, and it's important to identify and overcome them to succeed in today's world. Number 11. Judging success by comparing to others. Comparison is the thief of joy. Measuring your success and happiness by comparing it to others is one of the biggest traps to avoid in life. This mindset will always leave you feeling inadequate and demotivated. It's human nature to compare ourselves to others, but this becomes dangerous when we become fixated on it. Constantly comparing our lives to others only leads to feelings of jealousy, envy, and low self-esteem. The truth is, everyone has their own journey and their own definition of success. Success is subjective and unique to each individual. When we compare ourselves to others, we often forget this and fall into the trap of believing that their definition of success should also be ours. Let's say you're an aspiring writer who just published your first book. Instead of celebrating your achievement, you start comparing yourself to other authors who have more books published or have won literary awards. By doing so, you're not only diminishing your own accomplishment but also setting yourself up for failure by focusing on the wrong metrics. Instead of comparing yourself to others, focus on your own progress and growth. Set realistic goals for yourself and measure your success based on your own progress, not someone else's. Celebrate small victories along the way, and don't be too hard on yourself when things don't go as planned. The key to avoiding this trap is to shift your mindset from comparing to appreciating. Appreciate the success of others without letting it detract from your own journey. Learn from them, but also trust in your own abilities and potential for growth. Remember, your path to success is unique, and no one can take that away from you. Focus on your own progress and growth, set realistic goals, and measure your success based on your own journey, not someone else's. Don't let the illusion of comparison steal your joy and demotivate you. Number 12. Mindset of scarcity and lack. The mindset of scarcity and lack is a trap that can be detrimental to personal growth and development. It is easy to fall into the trap of thinking that resources are limited and that there is not enough to go around. This can lead to feelings of anxiety and fear, as well as a reluctance to take risks and pursue opportunities. Someone who grew up in a family that struggled financially. They may develop a belief that money is scarce and difficult to come by. As a result, they may avoid taking risks or pursuing new opportunities, as they are afraid of losing what little they have. This type of thinking can limit personal growth and hold people back from achieving their full potential. By shifting the mindset from scarcity to abundance, individuals can start to see opportunities where they once saw obstacles. Recognize that the world is abundant, and that resources are not limited. By focusing on abundance, individuals can start to attract opportunities and resources into their lives. This can lead to a greater sense of empowerment and a willingness to take risks and pursue new opportunities. Shifting from a mindset of scarcity to abundance can open up new opportunities and lead to personal growth and development. Number 13. Overestimating the power of a savior. Overestimating the power of a savior is a common trap that many people fall into. It involves the belief that someone else will come and save us, whether it be a higher power, a wealthy benefactor, or a government institution. This mindset can be dangerous because it can lead to a sense of complacency and a lack of personal responsibility. If someone is struggling financially, they may believe that if they pray hard enough, someone will come and rescue them from their situation. This belief may prevent them from taking action to improve their financial situation, such as seeking out a better job or learning new skills to increase their earning potential. It's important to remember that while it's great to have hope and faith in something greater than ourselves, it's also important to take action and responsibility for our own lives. Waiting for someone else to come and save us is not a sustainable solution and may actually hinder our progress towards achieving our goals. The key takeaway from this is to be proactive in your own life and take responsibility for your own success. While it's okay to ask for help and seek guidance from others, it's ultimately up to us to make the necessary changes in our own lives to achieve our goals. It's important to remember that while it's great to have hope and faith in something greater than ourselves, it's also important to take action and responsibility for our own lives. Waiting for someone else to come and save us is not a sustainable solution and may actually hinder our progress towards achieving our goals. Number 14. Blaming others for personal circumstances. Blaming others for personal circumstances is a common trap that many people fall into. It's easy to point fingers and find external reasons for our problems, but this mentality only leads to a sense of powerlessness and a lack of control over our own lives. It's important to take responsibility for our own actions and choices, and to avoid blaming others for the situations we find ourselves in. Someone who is unhappy with their job might blame their boss or coworkers for their lack of fulfillment. However, it's important to take a step back and reflect on their own choices and actions. Did they take steps to improve their situation, such as asking for a promotion or finding a new job? Did they take responsibility for their own happiness and fulfillment, or did they rely on others to provide it for them? Adopt a mindset of personal accountability and take ownership of our own lives. By recognizing our own agency in shaping our circumstances, we can take proactive steps towards achieving our goals and creating a life that we love. It's also important to recognize that we can't control everything that happens to us, but we can control how we respond to those situations. Instead of blaming others for our problems, we can focus on finding solutions and taking action to improve our situations. This shift in mindset can have a powerful impact on our lives and lead to a greater sense of empowerment and control. Blaming others for personal circumstances is a trap that can prevent us from achieving our goals and living the life we desire. By adopting a mindset of personal accountability and taking ownership of our own lives, we can break free from this trap and take proactive steps towards creating the life we want. Remember, we may not be able to control everything that happens to us, but we can always control how we respond. Number 15. Dangerous consequences of impulsive purchases. When it comes to managing money, it's easy to fall into the trap of impulsive buying. It's the allure of instant gratification that lures you into making purchases you don't need or can't afford. It can be something small like an unplanned cup of coffee or something big like a car you don't need. The result is the same: you are not making rational financial decisions that could affect your life in the long run. One of the biggest pitfalls of impulsive purchases is debt accumulation. People who fall into this trap often find themselves unable to pay their bills or credit card debts. Over time, the debt keeps piling up and can eventually lead to bankruptcy. Another downside of impulsive buying is the strain it puts on relationships. Couples who argue over money are often arguing about impulsive purchases that one or both of them have made. Financial strain can take a toll on any relationship, and it's often the result of impulsive purchases. Moreover, buying on impulse can also lead to a lack of discipline and self-control. If you are always giving in to your wants, you won't be able to achieve the things that require discipline and long-term commitment. It is difficult to develop good habits when you constantly succumb to temptation. One way to avoid impulsive buying is to create a budget and stick to it. Before making any purchase, consider whether it is necessary, and if you can afford it. Delaying gratification by putting off buying for a day or two can also help you determine if you really need the item. Another way to avoid the pitfall of impulsive buying is to focus on your long-term goals. Ask yourself if this purchase will get you closer to your goals, or if it will hinder your progress. Prioritizing your long-term goals can help you resist the temptation of instant gratification. In conclusion, impulsive buying can be a dangerous trap that can lead to financial problems, strain relationships, and undermine self-control. To avoid this pitfall, it is important to create a budget, prioritize your long-term goals, and practice discipline and self-control. It may not be easy, but it will help you make better financial decisions and ultimately lead to a happier and more fulfilled life. As we come to the end of our lesson on 15 pitfalls to steer clear of in life, we hope that you've gained valuable insights and tools to help you navigate life's challenges. From avoiding early life mistakes to steering clear of impulsive purchases, we've covered a broad range of topics that can have a profound impact on your life. Remember, life is full of twists and turns, and it's essential to stay vigilant and aware of the pitfalls that could sabotage your goals and dreams. Whether it's addiction to instant gratification, struggling to make decisions, or judging success by comparing yourself to others, we've provided actionable steps to help you avoid these traps. It's important to note that avoiding these pitfalls won't necessarily make your life easy, but it will help you stay on track and create a more fulfilling life. Success in life is not just about what you achieve, but how you achieve it, and by steering clear of these pitfalls, you can create a life that aligns with your values and aspirations. We hope this lesson has been valuable to you, and we encourage you to continue learning and growing. Remember, life is a journey, and every obstacle can be an opportunity to learn and grow. Thank you for watching, and we look forward to seeing you in the next lesson. Keep on rising.